Hello, baby. Welcome into Wise Wednesdays from Studio 71 here in New York City. Right here on FanDuel TV, I'm JJ John-Jastrzemski, hopefully giving you some wisdom to kick off your hump day and set you off the rest of the week with a whole lot of winners coming your way. We'll get to the pivotal Game 5 between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. Denver Nuggets. I hate to say I told you so with the Denver Nuggets. What a price you could have gotten if you bet on them down 2-0 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we'll break down all the ins and outs of those pivotal Game 5s. But we begin with the bet that was near and dear to my heart after Game 1 of the conference semifinals. I couldn't wait to bet OKC, a young team, to have a moment in Game 1. And then the Dallas Mavericks to go and win the series. FanDuel was giving us that price at over 3-1. It was juicy. It was appetizing. And it felt so good after Dallas won Game 2. PGA Washington and Dallas were brilliant in Game 3. And with a double-digit second half lead, I thought that baby was on ice. Well, not so fast, my friends. Not so fast. You got to make your free throws. You got to execute down the stretch. And it would be nice if the big boy, Luka Doncic, would actually show up and play at a high level. I don't want to hear about the injuries. I don't want to hear, it's this, it's that. No. You're out there playing. Oklahoma City is a young, inexperienced team. The stars of Dallas, and Kyrie Irving has done his part so far for the Mavericks. Maybe deferred a little bit too much for my liking, got into a little bit of foul trouble in Game 4, but I have no issues with the way Kyrie has balled out in this postseason. This is about Luka. Luka is going to have to be great and is going to have to give you one of those vintage Doncic games if the Mavs are going to go and win this series. Oklahoma City has gotten great play out of SGA. Oklahoma City has not done a great job of shooting the three. You know they're going to have a game coming up here where they bang 12 or 13 threes, and it's going to be problematic for the Mavs. As we sit here on Wednesday, Dallas at plus 116 to win the series. You think I'm hedging with Oklahoma City at minus 142? Nonsense. What we are going to do is hope that the veteran pedigree of Dallas is going to overwhelm the young, inexperienced Oklahoma City team. I think the market is maybe overreacting a little bit too much to what we saw in game number 4. I think Dallas can easily go and win a Game 5 or win a Game 7. So I am confident that we are still going to be talking about the Mavs going to the Western Conference Finals, but there's a big if. That means if Luka is going to show up. Now, there's a bet that you can make on FanDuel Sportsbook that to me is an awful bet to make. I would talk you out of it. I would tell you you're certifiably insane to go and make this wager. The Boston Celtics, who, yes, right now appear to be a stone cold lock to find their way to the NBA Finals. The Boston Celtics are minus 140 to win the NBA title. I got a major problem with that. And I know that the algorithms and the mathematics behind it are going to say, well, JJ, they're going to be in the NBA Finals. We have to factor that into the price. Well, here's what I'm going to factor in. The fact that Boston shouldn't be favored against Denver or Minnesota. And oh, by the way, it will be Denver or Minnesota playing in the NBA Finals. I wouldn't favor the Celtics in that series. I don't care if they got home court advantage. Minus 140 is an outrageous bet to make. It's outrageous. And I think you are certifiably insane if you're going to go on FanDuel right now and take the Celtics, who easily could be down in an NBA Finals against either one of those teams. I mean, spoiler alert, I won't be picking them against either one. You'll probably get a better number and you'll probably get a better price if indeed you believe in the Celtics. The Celtics are going to win this Game 5 if they're interested against the Cavaliers. They're 15 or 15.5 point favorites. And they're going to beat either the Knicks, who are absolutely depleted, or an Indiana team that couldn't guard me and my extraordinary team of Stephon and Tucker. I know Stephon's a tough guard, but you know what? They still couldn't guard him. They couldn't guard me. Celtics are going to be in the NBA Finals. Laying 140 to win the title is nonsense. Don't do it. Don't do it. Now, we don't do a lot of hockey, but I live here in the heart of New York City. And what I can tell you is that there are a lot of tense souls. There are a lot of angry people thinking about the state of the Eastern Conference semifinals as we sit here on Wednesday. Because a week ago, it appeared the Rangers were a shoo-in to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. They were up 3-0. They'd won back-to-back overtime games. It had appeared the Carolina Hurricanes were donezo. Well, Carolina wins Game 4 in dramatic fashion. They smoked the Rangers in the third period in Game 5. And the odds makers and our friends at FanDuel have had a much different feeling on this series than what maybe the eye test would tell us. Because the Rangers had a better record. The Rangers won the President's Cup. The Rangers beat Carolina in the playoffs 2 years ago, yet they have not been favored in any of these games. And they are not favored in Thursday night's Game 6. Carolina is now a little under 2-1 to go and win this series. But I think if you're looking at this from a Ranger perspective, and this is a bet we're going to get to when we give our Wise Wednesdays lock of the week. Rangers are plus money for Game 6. That's a bet you make. Because if this series is going to a Game 7 and you lose 3 consecutive games, the home ice advantage may actually end up being disadvantageous because of how tense and how nervous that crowd can be. I've seen it in Game 7s in the past where you're at home, you're expected to win, all the momentum is working against you, and the first sign of trouble, the crowd doesn't know what to do. I'd be very leery of that. You're going to play the Rangers. Play them on Thursday night. Don't get involved playing them thinking they're going to win a Game 7. Be careful with that. Be careful. Now, we got at Valhalla, the PGA Championship, the second major of the year. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we're waiting as we speak for the matchups to be unveiled. But as we sit here on Wise Wednesdays, a great way to look at the golf and a great way to handicap the golf is go through the odds that are presented on FanDuel Sportsbook and try to find 5 to 6 guys that you like. Play them in the top 5, play them in the top 10. When those matchups come out, maybe you get some plus money. Don't ever waste serious juice on any of these matchups. Ends up being a major mistake. Don't like the idea of laying 170, 180. Never a good idea. Never a good suggestion. But as we get ready for this tournament, we're not giving you Scottie Scheffler. Too obvious. We know he's the best player in the world. We know he's a cyborg on the golf course. We're passing on him. We're passing on Rory McIlroy. Even though he's played great, even though maybe that divorce ends up being a blessing in disguise, we're not getting involved with Rory. Here's what we are going to do. Brooks Koepka loves the PGA Championship. He won it last year. He won it at Bethpage. This tournament is his baby. I'm getting Brooks right now at 16-1 on FanDuel Sportsbook. Sign me up. I'm going to play him in the top 5. I'm going to play him in the top 10. I'm going to play him in all sorts of matchups. I am in on Brooks Koepka at 16-1. You know who else I like? And he's been playing really good golf. And he played well at the Masters. Guy by the name of Bryson DeChambeau. We like back in the live guys. I know they're not going to show him on TV, but all Wallet likes back in the live guys. DeChambeau played well at Augusta. You could get him at 28-1 on FanDuel Sportsbook. And then I'm looking at 2 long shots. And players that, in my opinion, should not be categorized in the long shot category. Wyndham Clark. You're giving me 45-1 on Wyndham Clark with the way he's played on the tour this year? That's a guy who's got swagger. That's a guy who has emerged here on the PGA slate over the last 2 years. He should be in that 25-30-1 range. At 45-1, that's a really good price. And I don't care if he played poorly last week. Wyndham Clark at 45-1. We are adding that to our portfolio. And then last but not least, I know Justin Thomas has not had a great run over the last 2 years. There's something to be said for having that home field, home course advantage. And maybe the Rangers aren't going to have it in a Game 7. But I think Justin Thomas at his home course in Valhalla, 50-1. I think you're going to see an inspired couple of days out of the two-time former PGA champion. So as we get ready for the second major of the year, I got 4 players that I have lined up, playing them in matchups. I'm playing them in top 5s and top 10s, and hopefully we'll get a couple of those babies home. We're going to have Mike Carver, who is as good a golf handicapper as you're going to find. He's going to join us here on Wise Wednesdays. We're going to run through the full card. He's going to give you a couple long shots. He's going to give you his strategy for how to nail these next 4 days and how to boost the profits there in your FanDuel Sportsbook account. In addition, Pat Boyle over at BetQL, big New York guy, like me. Very tense New York guy. I know he had the Knicks to go and win this series. How's he feel after what transpired in Game 5 over at Madison Square Garden? We'll get to that. We'll get to reaction from the Nuggets and Timberwolves. What a series that has been in the Western Conference. All that more. It is a loaded Wise Wednesday. We're just getting started. John Jastrzemski with you right here on FanDuel TV.